Okay, guys, time to start. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining online, and welcome to the second BIRD Demo Day. We hope that you will enjoy what we prepared. Is the 5 of the best startup that went through the program or they are still in the program. We hope that that soon. Come on, guys, come on. You're not being late. Come on. So some requisitionals are still coming. It's always rush hour in Zagreb. So it's past 7 months from the first demo day that we organized here in BIRD. As you may know, we are not doing this in cohorts, but we take startups in a hop-on, hop-off system. So we don't do cohorts and then demo day. But when we see that it's time for startups that are on the next level, or they are first time and they reach the level when we want them to be presented to the investors, then we have them in front of you. So today you will hear 4 startups plus one surprise startup that didn't went through BIRD Incubator, but it was closely connected to BIRD Incubator. And you will see because they are like spin-off from Poslovna Inteligencija, the parent company of BIRD Incubator. So I will not take any more of your time. The idea is for each startup to have up to 10 minutes pitch. After pitch, you will be able to ask question for 3 minutes, and yeah, that's it. And we will go one after another. Come on, Mariana. Hi, nice to see you. So people are dropping in. The first startup is one of the first startups that came into BIRD. We are very proud to have them as part of BIRD Incubator. They came as a 2-person band. Now there are more than 10 people. So we are very proud about their success. Today is with us one part of the team, Bruno, and they are all over the place. They just arrived from London. Bruno, how are you feeling? I hope you're feeling great.
I do feel great. I always feel really great when I'm in BIRD, and that's 15 hours per day. So as Željko said, my name is... Thank you, but wait for the presentation for clapping. Before I start, I would like to thank to BIRD Incubator to one more demo day and facilitating this. Highly appreciated, as always. And today I'm going to present Cidrani Biome, the gut company. I'm going to talk about burning problem. And when I say burning, I mean it. I'm talking about inflammation. But not the inflammation that you encounter the next day after a good gym session. I'm talking about chronic inflammation that is root cause of every metabolic disease. It was root cause of 10 strokes that hit my grandfather before he passed away. It was a root cause of severe stroke that hit my father when he was only 41. And I knew it would be my pet, but I don't want to walk that pet. So I started researching. I visited more than 40 countries. I spent a couple of thousands of hours in different biohacking educations, well-being, and tried to tap into a prolonged health span. But as Paulos Coelho's alchemist, I found it in myself. Literally. I found it in my gut microbes. Those little creatures that live on our skin and in our gut are not only responsible for digesting food. Through neuromodulators like serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, and dopamine, they're affecting the bare core of what we consider ourselves, our character, our motivation, our creativity, and our health. Fortunately, there is #1 dietary intervention that we can do to increase microbiota diversity. And when we do so, we reduce inflammation in our bodies through dramatically reducing interleukin-6, that is highly inflammatory cytokine. Even Stanford showed it last year. So by consuming 2 to 3 portions of low sugar fermented food or beverages daily, we can do that. But there is a but. If you ever tried fermenting at home, you know it's a hassle. It's like having a pet or even having a kid. You need to think about it, you need to spend time, it can go to mold, you need to feed it, you need to talk with it, it wants your attention, and in the end, if you tried it like I did and millions of others, you probably stopped. It's just not worth it. So, you can always jump to first supermarket and grab something that is fermented off the shelf, but probably it will be over-sugared. Even if it's not, it will just be fermented for 4 to 7 hours, because big food really corrupted the process of fermentation. When it becomes sour, they stop the fermentation by putting it into fridge. When we put something in the fridge, we contribute to huge carbon footprint, because cold chain shipping is responsible for 60% of global carbon footprint. So we always say if it's not sour enough, it wasn't fermented long enough. So we decided to tap into that problem and to solve it. I present the world's first fermented microdrinks that don't require cold chain shipping, have 5 times less sugar than other fermented beverages, long shelf life, easy, convenient to use and to ship, and long fermented, so they are sour enough. Only 3 steps: hold, squeeze, press, and drink. Actually 4. Done. So we solved that problem, and that is pretty cool. People like it, but we can only improve what we can measure. And with gut microbiota, it's really complex. It's not about more is better, like pharma industry sometimes says about probiotics. It's better. So it's about the ratio and about the homeostasis of our gut microbes. So we are now going one step further. We are personalizing for gut microbes. Our bioinformaticians made a quiz that is connected with all the relevant clinical data about herbs that we are fermenting, and combining psychological subjective inputs into recommender engine to recommend monthly personalized box that looks like this. Next week we are also releasing our Anibiome Age, that is a test that we buy off the shelf from Genos and Professor Lautz, that only from 1 drop of blood can tell you your biological age compared to your age group based on inflammatory markers. Soon we are also going to present stool sampling, actually sequencing, that we are also buying off the shelf from the laboratory that has patent to do it the fastest in the world, from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And the best part is we are feeding the engine, the recommender engine, and artificial intelligence to make the box. While other personalize for human beings, we personalize for your microbes. But as we are not pharma industry, I cannot lie to you. There is no magic pill. There is no magic potion. If you are interested in that, you can always invest in David Sinclair's project. But we are not there. We need to be honest. And we know that 94% of our well-being, longevity, and health span is coming through our small daily choices that we can call epigenetics. And our fermented microdrinks are only first small victory in a day. But as we know, one small victory always leads to all the other victories. So we are building AI assistant, Ani, that is going to guide you to make good choices. We are going to, by knowing and understanding our gut microbes' needs and state at certain moment, to translate gut feeling into language that everyone can understand. And by that, make an ultimate decision-making tool. Now someone can ask, do you have competitors? We truly believe when one is running its own lane, there is no competition. But some parts of our model apparently overlap with some other companies. I will just give a couple of examples. For example, Waterdrop, Austrian startup, started 6 or 7 years ago, raised 70 million 2 months ago. They do produce microdrinks, not fermented, not personalized, etc., but they do microdrinks. And that is where similarities stop. Biome, they raised 130 million euros. They are personalizing probiotics. But science now knows that fermented foods is way superior to pharma isolated single strains of probiotics, etc. Although we are using tools from big food, big tech, and big pharma, we are making here, creating big longevity. We are standing on shoulders of these giants, but with fundamental different principle, with not having the profit as the first and main engine and goal, but only as a consequence of increased health span. Our goal is to become #1 longevity company in the world, to list on Hong Kong Stock Exchange by 2030, and to increase expected health span of our clients by double by 2040. We are growing exponentially. That means that we are growing 5 times compared to the same period. Last year we opened 5 new markets in the last 2 months. We are launching 12 new microjigs by the end of the year, and we are not planning to stop. And we are doing it with a huge team of 10 people. Of course, that's a joke, but in every joke there is a piece of truth. If you take in consideration that in January our team was only 4, and that majority of the things you see here is result of effort of that team, and that effort of these 10 people you're going to see in the next couple of months, maybe you will consider this joke to have more truth than you expected. At the moment we are in the middle of a safe round of 900,000 euros. We already have committed, and part of it already paid, 350,000 euros. And we are preparing the next round of 5 million for the next 18 months. We are resilient enough to extend that runway for even 24 or maybe 30 months if needed, because before you ask, we are aware of the crisis that is coming, maybe the biggest crisis in human history. But we are also aware that the longevity industry is the biggest industry in human history, and it is always trend opposite. So we are aware of it, and we are preparing our own production facility, opening it in July, with theoretical capacity in one shift, annually 75 million euros. In one shift, I repeat. And we are conducting our own clinical study, double-blinded on 100 people, that is going to measure inflammatory markers and gut microbiota, plus subjective psychological data, also feed it into our machine learning model with University from Rijeka. For too long, we were living separated and divided from our microbes, small entities that are making the bare core of our being. We didn't tap into that potential. Cidrani biome is here to reconnect us with our microbes and to allow us synergy between humans and microbes, so that we can create together, that we can increase our health span, and that we can make new world because we have time. We have increased health span. We call it biological transhumanism. Thanks.
Great presentation, Bruno. Very nice. I know that you did it today. So now it's up to you to ask questions. You who are online, you can raise the hand. Maybe I will see you. Maybe you can raise this small digital hand. You know, in the bottom there's more downstairs, or you can raise it like this, and I will see you. Any question here? John Michaels, I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. John, please ask the question. Bruno.
Good attempt, John Michaelis. Great presentation, Bruno. First question, you talk about doing a clinical study. What sort of level of clinical advocacy is this going to give? Is it just going to be relevant in Croatia, or do you think it's got more of a wider European appeal?
Okay, thanks for your question. We are actually negotiating 2 studies. One with University of Rijeka is going to be with patients that have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And that one is going to, we will have double-blinded placebo study. That means that we will have our microdrinks, but that are not being fermented, just really, really concentrated tea. And we are going to, it's going to be better than Stanford study, because they just told people eat, consume fermented. That could be yogurt, it could be kombucha, it could be sauerkraut. You don't know, is it pasteurized, how much sugar does it contain, and what it people actually eat. But yesterday we had a call with professor from Amsterdam. They are going to conduct also clinical study with 3 groups. One is with fermented foods, as Stanford has. Other one is with fiber, as also Stanford, and third one without anything. And they invited us to be part of that study. So we are now waiting for expenses, but Dutch government is participating with 350,000 euros. And if we jump in that one, that will really be something worldwide. Our local one will be good, good for marketing, good for starting, but in the end, Maastricht and Amsterdam universities are much, much stronger than Rijeka University still.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you, John, for the question. And as you see, Bruno have always answer for everything. Anybody else with a question? No, he was totally clear. Here. Thank you, Bruno. That was really excellent and convincing presentation. I just have one question, which is that your actual physical product is the microbiology, but I didn't see anyone on your team who's doing microbiology. And in order to penetrate, you're going to have to scale up your manufacturing. So where are you planning to do that, and how, and with whom?
Great questions. So we have a PhD biotechnologist in our team and 2 bioinformaticians, and they don't have a clue about fermentation. It's really nice to see them on pitch deck, but Nika and myself, we did all the recipes, and we did what actually industry standard told us it's not possible. So again, I'm repeating, we are not pharma industry. That means, for example, we don't want to do precision fermentation, as all the microbiologists are doing. We want to do imprecision fermentation. That means that all the spontaneous fermentation that is happening, we just want to measure what we are getting from it. So we don't want to tell microbes what they should do. We want to leave them to do the best they can, and then to harvest that by data and to recommend it. We already had questions like that from all the investors and everything else, but and we will expand the team. But at the moment, nobody can do it better than we can, because you cannot learn this on university. There is no path that we can walk and that is certain what we are going to get. We are discovering something completely new. And regarding the scaling, that's really easy. When we started this, we had 1,500 euros revenue monthly. And we didn't want to produce anything that we cannot scale to Far Asia and to the US. So we can scale unlimitedly. We have 5 different facilities that are doing fermentation for us. Then we ship it to another facility. In the meantime, changing the labels so so we keep the trade secrets. And we made it in our kitchen. We are not the best microbiologists in the world, but we know how to do business, and we can hire them.
Sometimes it was in this kitchen in BIRD Incubator, but they forbid it. We forbid it. Thank you, Bruno. Great presentation.
Thanks, Jats.
Okay, so we're going to the starter number 2. They are online. He is currently in Bratislava, I think.
Yes.
Hi, Justin. How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing very well. I'm sorry that I didn't hear you in Zagreb, but hopefully soon.
Yes. Hopefully soon. I'll probably be coming down in the next few weeks, actually.
Okay, no problem. So the name of the company is Culture Pulse. Maybe it tells you a lot, maybe it doesn't, but I'm sure that Justin will explain you what they do. So Justin, you have 10 minutes, and please kill the floor.
Thank you. So happy to be here virtually with everyone today. Looking forward to coming back down to Zagreb and seeing the friends down there as soon as possible. So Culture Pulse is an AI company, and we focus specifically in the social media analytics space. So we're looking to try and solve a number of different problems using deep tech that's come out of years of university research by myself and my co-founder, who is a professor in Norway, Laurent Schultz. The problem we're really trying to get at is that there are companies all over the world that are making a lot of decisions based on what the industry is calling engagement. They're very shallow statistics. They're very easy to get, though, from social media. And social media companies are using this to drive primarily all of their advertising revenue at this point. And market companies are selling this basically as the engagement metric that works. However, it's very tertiary. Really what people want is access to beliefs and motivations, the things that are really driving purchases, for example, or driving brand loyalty. And likes and retweets, for example, aren't doing that. You know, retweets can often be negative, that they're just sharing an example of something that they absolutely hate. So if you're looking at retweets as a valuable engagement metric, you could be grossly mistaken. And there's a lot of brands who have fallen into this trap in the past. The opportunity that we present is that we have a better way of analyzing social media. We have a source agnostic AI system. So that is to say, we can take text data in from any source. We're focusing specifically on Reddit just as a go-to-market strategy, but we've also already been working on Twitter for several years, including large projects sponsored by European governments. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the way that people act is that, you know, we exist in a free market and our beliefs are what are driving our behaviors, right? So if we find something interesting, we're going to move towards it, right? We're going to click it, we're going to read it, we will engage with it. If we think something is better than another thing, we will buy it. Most of marketing is really trying to just get the seed of information into somebody's head so that we recall it later. The way that people have been trying to do that so far is just with a blunderbuss approach, if you will, a shotgun approach, where they're trying to just pepper the internet with as much of their information as possible, and hoping that 2 to 3% of the market is going to actually engage with that information. When what they could be doing is utilizing the psychological information of the market in order to hone their own message and create something that resonates better with their market. And that's effectively what our solution is. We use our AI to get at the why, right? Why are people buying? Why are people engaged? Why are people not buying or engaged? And coming up with a simple platform that people can use as a software as a service platform that we're going to be launching in the next few quarters, so that we can have that out so that everyone can take a look at it and have that access right at their fingertips without hiring their own data science team or hiring us in as consultants, which is what we've been doing for the last few years. Our prediction process is simple. Over the last 10 years, I've been doing this kind of research for companies, universities, and governments. And it always ends up being the same thing. People need us to gather a bunch of data, analyze a bunch of data, and then predict something on the end. So as we've honed that process, we've also started to automate it considerably over time. So our key focus, as I mentioned, is social media data. Reddit is our big one. We can go with just the name of a subreddit. Our technology can go out, scrape that subreddit, create a complete digital twin of that subreddit and all of the top posts in it. And that allows us to understand and study that subreddit in great detail. It also allows us to basically ping back information and messages. That allows the analysis and the prediction engine to really kind of fit in one area. So your message can go out and be tested without actually having any reputational risk or additional costs. We're going to be releasing it later this year as a set of platform modules, because we realized in conversations with our customers so far that sometimes people don't need everything that we have. A lot of times we're throwing too much at them from the AI standpoint. They really just need one simple solution. So we've started to create sort of an a la carte menu approach to the AI that we provide and how our system actually can work and provide the insights that people are looking for. The first one is the audience analysis. And this is what people are usually coming to us for. They want to effectively know, what are the concerns of their audience? Where are the buyers? Where are the people who are brand loyal? What's the sort of personality? How can they talk to them? What are their concerns and their fears? Are they generally a sort of happy community? Are they sad? Are they anxious? And our AI system can give them all of those dimensions and more. And our platform that's coming out is also going to be giving hints on how you can better engage with those groups. So if you are not necessarily sure what it means to have an organization that's low in extroversion or an audience that's low in extroversion, our system is going to help guide people and help them to understand this, working with the psychological team that we have here at Culture Pulse. The second aspect is A/B testing. A/B testing is kind of a market standard. for a lot of companies, when they go out, they want to know which message is going to be better. So they chum the water, they kind of throw it out there a little bit and see what sticks. We're going to be able to fast track all of that in the digital twin environment. We've already been doing this with a proof of concept that I'll mention in a second. But utilizing these digital twins becomes very powerful because it's a low risk environment. If something goes wrong, we just reboot the digital twin. We don't need to go back and create a bunch of more data. We don't need to scrape a bunch of data. We can just, reset it and can try it all over again. So that becomes something that's very powerful that a lot of people have been interested in for placing something on the market, for example. Understanding, if they have a certain product description, is it going to fit better with one market or another if there's two competing or potential markets in the entertainment space, for example? Do you want HBO or do you want Netflix? So we can take a script, bounce that as an A/B test against our digital twin for Netflix and HBO and say which market it's most likely to stick with. So it's not just A/B testing in the traditional market sense, but it actually utilizes that mechanism at scale of millions of users at a time. The last is a content editor, which is going to be able to help the creatives in marketing departments and marketing agencies to better hone in their message and utilize our technology to match the level of where people are, for example. So if you have a group that is extremely extroverted, you need to be able to try and match that from a psychological parameter. If you can match that, it's going to be more resonant. They're going to feel like they're talking more to a friend than talking to some kind of a bot. And we're going to be leveraging that with new content editor suggestions that we're currently working on deploying by the end of this year. The system that we have is already available in over 40 languages. It's been field tested as well with proof of concept projects in a fair number of those languages. It has 85 categories currently, so well over 50, but 85 categories is the number we have in the new version that's currently deployed. It's based in 30 years of research from myself, my co-founders, and our research team. The accuracy levels that we are getting when there is a comparable category to a competitor, for example, we're not the only people doing personality analysis. IBM Watson offers personality analysis, and we can go toe-to-toe with IBM Watson, but we're 100 times more efficient. Our AI system can actually fit on your cell phone and it won't slow it down. IBM Watson is going to require a lot more heavy hardware before it actually can start working on anything for you. And the accuracy that we get out of this system has been used and published in peer-reviewed journals in psychology. So this is something that has clinical levels of accuracy that's well accepted in the research community. So what we're trying to do is take this high-level data science and really bring it down to the level where anyone can access it freely and quickly. The platform pricing is we are going to end up with a freemium model. So there's a free model that's underneath of this that allows people to test and bounce off the ideas just to see how the platform works and to see whether or not there's anything useful. So we're going to give them effectively a set of subreddits that they can play with. Then we're going to have a sort of tiered usage that goes all the way up to a platinum user, which would be a little bit larger than your standard company. These are Fortune 500s or social media companies themselves that we're talking at the platinum level currently. The customers that we already have include the Research Council of Norway. When COVID hit, we did the social media listening for Twitter for the Norwegian ministry there, and we're giving them reports on the effects of different aspects of emotion and topic. We're helping them to track misinformation and to create better messages from the healthcare sector so that they could actually put something out that was able to go toe-to-toe with the misinformation and hopefully debunk things or pre-bunk them if at all possible. Minds.com, we've been working to use this technology to create a de-radicalization pipeline where we're de-radicalizing individuals and making their system have more resonant messages in a political moderate area because they have an issue with right-wing extremism. With Me Prism, they're just a standard API customer where they're showing users what the market looks like in terms of personality. Same with Kingston University of London. We've been doing work there to try and profile what different organizations and groups online look like in a research perspective. And then University of Cambridge has been working with us to build out our news stream, where we're offering not just social media, but we're going to be moving into the news area so that people can track sort of the cultural milieu of different markets from the idea of the news streams and seeing what the media is also saying about key topics that are relevant to different brands. We've been working with them them. We have a 2-year project where we're using this and piloting it to see if it scales by measuring tens of millions of news reports of conflicts all over the world. So we're working throughout the Balkans, we're working in Northern Ireland and in South Sudan. That research was actually just presented to the House of Lords 2 weeks ago and was very well received. So we're looking forward to trying expanding this outside of just social media and listening, and potentially into other areas where we can help. The core team of sort of the founders, if you will, that are kind of the 4 of us. Laurent and I co-founded the company as a spin-off of our first company, which is an IP holdings company. And we brought in Brian Switchkow and Maya Roknitz, who's Brian has been a CMO who works as a growth hacker. He's been working with Reddit for several years and is well known in the social media space for the work that he does there. Maya is a great product manager who's been working with us on previous projects as well, and she's now coming in to work as our chief product officer. Our key goals are basically product development, ramping up sales. We're going to improve the API, but we're always improving this API. We're very research oriented generally. And so releasing the self-service platform 2.0, that's going to include Twitter and CRM support. And so we've already closed our seed round. We have a Series A we've already started taking interested notes. We have sort of verbal commitments for about half of the currently planned Series A right now. So we're already in plans to try and ramp that up. And if anyone has any questions or wants to contact us, naturally we have offices in Slovakia, and we also have a presence in the United States. And so we're scaling up in both Europe and the US simultaneously at the moment. And so if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to give it a try. I did. Much appreciated. Thank you. Hi. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, so I'm happy to talk about behavioral economics all day. Daniel Kahneman has been one of my inspirations for from back when I thought I wanted to be an academic. But so we are dealing with the big 5 personalities. So we're looking at the ocean scores, right? We are looking at implicit measures there, but we're getting them from text. So they're explicitly stated, but they are implicit measures. So we're not just taking, for example, what you would see in sort of the personality inventory research and replicating that as sort of like a regex matching. I've seen people do that. It's just not, it doesn't actually work. So we utilize a lot of different studies that are coming in using data from labs all over the world. A number of them are studies that myself and my co-founder have actually run in the personality space, and using that as the basis for our technology there. So it goes a little bit further than some of the other systems, and we have been cross-validated as well. So we've been validated using data that we've not seen, and with people who filled out the clinical scale of the IP-40, which is a pretty standard scale in personality research. And we were able to show statistically significant correlations with a 95% confidence interval on all 5 of the metrics.
Okay, but don't ask him anything that he can talk a lot. Please. Yeah.
So for the scalable software as a service platform, we're looking at just providing the data. There are specific cases where people are coming to us and they're asking for more know-how on how they can better deal with these things from like a psychological intervention standpoint. For example, I mentioned the work that we use this technology for with the Norwegian government during the COVID response. And that would be an example of that. For example, we were there we were giving policy briefs, we were giving research briefs and results, as well as, publishing papers that are currently coming out that are looking at exactly exactly that. How can you create better information and put better information out there that can help to combat misinformation about COVID that was coming from all over the world?
Okay, thanks. Anybody from online? We can. Okay. Yeah, there is another question here.
Hi. Yeah. Uh-huh. So part of it, so we do have competitors, obviously. I mean, in a way, any of the social listening companies that are doing sentiment analysis, you could consider as a competitor because we're after their market. They beat us there. They're already there. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. And we look forward to taking a lot of their customers in the next couple of months. They are pretty much only offering positive and negative sentiment at best. You do get some companies that are doing aspect-based sentiment analysis, which is a fancy version of equally useless information for most companies. The actual things that are driving a lot of consumer behaviors are not just positive and negative. You need to know more than that to understand why it is that it's negative and why it is that it's positive. So with our system, we're not just offering those two, right? In addition to positive and negative as general categories, we actually break those categories down into lower level emotional dimensions as well. So for example, for negative, we have like anxiety and sadness. And for positive sentiment, we have happiness and warmth. As different emotions because people were responding very differently to those. But then in addition to that, we can also tell you, what their values are like from a moral standpoint, right? Or if you're in an organization and you mentioned aspects of authority, right? Prestige biases are extremely useful in advertising, and that's been well established by the behavioral economics literature. But if you go too far in the wrong market with prestige biases, you start to come off as an authoritarian and you'll get a bad market reaction. So the ability to balance, for example, let's say mentions of authority from a positive and a negative standpoint, being able to balance that and come up with something that's resonant with your market, that's something that no one else on the market can do right now.
Okay, thank you. And we are going to go further.
Thanks.
I'm skipping in my brain between Croatian and English. So I have to English. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. It was a wonderful presentation. And as I said, really looking forward to see you soon in Zagreb. And now we from Bratislava going to jump back into Zagreb live. Marco from Team Ultrax, they are doing quite a great job in the sports. They want to change sport, and I see that you bring something with you this time. Nice, nice. Okay, warm welcome to Marco. Just warm you up, and yeah, here's the mic and
Hello to everybody. Sorry, let's go back. My name is Marco, and I'm a sports scientist. For the last 15 years, I work in Croatian elite sport now. But before, when I started in an amateur sport. Through my whole career, I have the almost same problem, and this is the lack of money for high-end equipment, for testing, for training clothes, for insight in athletes' shape. So I decided to do something about it, and now 3 years ago I sent an email to the Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Computing, and today I'm here with our first hardware prototype and with our data management software. So here you can see some of the players which I have worked with. Mainly I work with them in a human performance laboratory in Faculty of Kinesiology in Zagreb, but also I was part of the team Croatian national football team, handball team, basketball team. So I think that I have a lot of experience in sport. I always ask myself, what if I have all the data from all of their trainings, all of their match, all of their injuries? What would be the value of such data? So for me, as a sports scientist, or for coaches, or for young athletes, I think it would be enormous value. Where is the problem? Problem is that 99% of the sport club do not have high-tech digital tools because of budget. And when I say 99%, I don't think only Croatian or this region, I think world. Why is this so? I don't know. Digitalization in sport is relatively in relative early phase. 10 years ago, start everything. And second is that digitalization is only in high-end elite sport. So I don't know, best football clubs, NBA, MLS, American track and field, and similar sports. So we think that we can change this. We created hardware and software ecosystem, which consists of hardware diagnostic solution, hardware situation solution, and data management software. So early before I mentioned that I always have problem with money and with lack of the equipment. So how will this equipment help me in my career? For example, when I start working, my first work was in Human Performance Laboratory. This is the place where all Croatian athletes come 2 or 3 times per year to get tested, that we see what are his motorical ability, functional ability, I don't know, anthropological status. We have all possible equipment, very expensive equipment, very complex equipment, but we didn't have data management software. All our data was in Excel or in Access, and today is still the same with the data management. Then I started work in one amateur football club as a coach of the, I don't know, under 14. I have knowledge from the elite sport. I didn't have equipment. I have only my watch and my laptop, but I tried to do something more. I was young, I was ambitious, and I have this insight in the elite sport. So I start to collect the data with stopwatch, with some test procedures which are normal in this level of competition. And after some times, I lose all this data, because today I write in one paper, tomorrow another paper, then for 3 or 4 weeks this Excel is too slow or too small, and then I start again. Then at the end I come in Dinamo. Dinamo is the greatest football club in Croatia. He play Champions League. We have money, we have all the equipment, and we have bunch of data, but we didn't have data management software. And our job was 8 hours per day looking Excel tables. At the end of the day, we didn't see nothing in them. So each day, again, and then maybe at the end of the season or year, we have some annual report, which is okay, but it's not the main problem. In elite sport or in training process, you must have day-to-day data, and based on this data, you must do some conclusions. With our hardware, which is pretty simple, this is first prototype. you can check the movement of the players. So we have diagnostic solution. Diagnostic solution is used in basic tests. So 1 or 2 times per year, you test your players, your athletes, and you do some report about his status. How it works? I put this one variable on players, or I put in the special t-shirt, and when I jump, he measure height of my jump. When I move front back, he can measure my speed, my acceleration, my deceleration. He can measure our rotation and everything about movement, what is important for me. This is the basic level for amateur clubs or something in the middle. If we want to work with this in human performance lab, we must have 3 of these and 1, and then we have precision of 1 millimeter or 1 millisecond. If we want to work at the pitch, each day training, we can put this on the player. So if we are in football, we must have 30 or 20, and then we can measure everything what happens in this training. After that, all this data goes in our software and automatically are analyzed, and I, as a coach, can read them, and I can transfer them to others people in club, and the main board have head coaches, and head coaches are on the level of red, yellow, and green. So all this data, all this information, all this analytical process in background, we can manage them on 3 colors. And this is important thing in sport, because if we give too much information to someone, they will lose them, and they are unuseless. So who are our competition? Our competition, there is only one company which have software and hardware solution, and this is Catapult. They are pioneers in this field. They start 20 or 25 years ago in Australia, and they start with software last year. So until now, they have only hardware. Kinexon, Vimo, Star Sports, these are our hardware competition. Kinexon is one German company. He's focused in industry, RTLS systems in industry, but they start with sport now. Vimo is Spanish system. They have similar specification like our system, and Star Sports is one American system. He has only GPS data. So Catapult and Vimo have the get the data from GPS and from ultra wideband like me. Kinexon only from ultra wideband, and Vimo and Starsport only from GPS. What are our advantage in front of them is price. So each of these cost 2.5, 3, 4,000 euros per player. So this is the price of one tech plus software license per year, around 2,000 euros. When we go to the software, we have Catapult, Soccer Lab, Kidsman Lab, SAP. These 2, Soccer Lab and Kidsman Lab, are very good. They are some kind of models in sport because they are only sport focus. SAP, you probably know what is SAP, and they are excellent software, but too big, too complex for people in sport. And if you want to use SAP, you must have 2 or 3 guys only for SAP administration. I have lucky, I work with almost all of these systems except Kinexon, but one of my friends is coach in Bayern München. basketball club, and we have very good insights. So our main advantage is that we have the same quality like these top products, but at pretty lower price. So 5, 6, 7, maybe more times lower price, and this is our advantage. What is the market of sport analytics? It's estimated $1.1 billion, but this is the market only of 5% elite sport. Only the best athlete sport organization in the world. Our market are professional sport, but also we want to expand market to youth sport, amateur sport, EA sport. Even we can open the market in some tactical force. For example, army, police, fire department. Because each field where is the human motion important, we can measure this motion. Our business model is relatively simple. We have hardware rent, software subscription, and in future our focus will be on data. So we want with AI and machine learning, we want to create predictive algorithms. For example, talent identification, injury prevention, tactical advantage, and so on. We have our beta testers, Dinamo, Ljubicic Tennis Academy, Faculty of Kinesiology, and Croatian Football Federation. It's important to say that our system is made almost for all sports, not only for football or basketball or tennis. All sports can use our system. Who is in our team? Professor Japo. He is professor at FAIR. He is lead software developer. Hrvoje Mihaldinec. He have PhD in this ultra wideband technology, and he is lead hardware developer. And I am a sports scientist. I came from sport, and I am CEO and sales lead. We have 10 more peoples. We have outsourced the software developers, and we have 4 developers, junior developers inside of our team. Sales and marketing, we have only 2, and in next period we must build this section. So until now we spent around 200,000 euros. Last 6 months our burning rate is around 10,000. Our goal is 4 million euro revenue in the next 3 years. For this we need 1,200 clubs, so 672 basic license, which is $1 per player, 265 advanced, which is $5 per player, and 86 professional clubs, which is $10 per player. So if we do some averaging, it's around 10 times cheaper than current solutions. So how we will do this? We must professionalize our team. We must hiring up to 10 people, create marketing and sales budget, because until now everything's go in developing, and of course we must increase development budget to finish this product to the final phase. This is it. Thank you very much. You must take this one. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Question for Marco. Here we go. Hi, Marco.
it's both, because all of our production is in-house. We have our own hardware. So we work on hardware for last, I don't know, 10 years maybe, with your PhD. And the next one is, of course, it's a business model. Why are others so expensive? Because I think that they are at the beginning. All this process data in sport are at the beginning, and they can, because they target only the best and the richest clubs in the world. For example, Bayern München, which have money, don't have these devices for under 19, under 17, and this is the practice in Bundesliga. If we take that Bundesliga is rich league. Yes, we must target the professionals that we get the mass, because sport, concept of sport is always, I don't know, player in some local club want to become Messi. So if this use Messi and it's good for Messi and coaches in Barcelona, Real use it, then it will be okay for the lower level of competition. Yes, this is our goal. We start, yes, we started today. So it's our first serious pitch. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Željko. Hi, everyone. Good evening and good day to you all. Yeah, I feel great. And yeah, I would be happy to share what we have worked on. Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Ivan Livic. I'm from Croatia originally, but been living in Southeast Asia for more than 10 years. And I will present today Vendue Tech. We are building a co-investment platform for undervalued distressed real estate. When a corporate or an individual becomes insolvent, they go under foreclosure, where all of their assets are being sold in auctions. These are mandated by commercial courts, and those kind of properties are what we call distressed real estate or distressed property. How the whole thing started for me and my team. Several years ago, I was coming to Europe, to Croatia. I was looking to buy a property for my family, and the prices, as we all know, have been going up and up and up for the last 5+ years, and there doesn't seem to be an end over there. And after 2 years of looking for a good deal, I discovered this inefficient and mostly unknown marketplace of distressed and undervalued real estate. So I wanted to take a look deeper into what is going on there. I have analyzed hundreds and hundreds of auctions across Croatia. I was even looking for other countries as well. I started skimming through data, analyzing, cross-checking, and basically starting to finding these golden nuggets of opportunities with huge discounts. After 10 auctions that I've done myself, electronic auctions, in courts, and also sending physical mails, number one, I managed to learn a lot about legal terminologies and auctioning processes. And number two, I was lucky enough to find 2 properties, saving me at least $70,000. So through this process and hundreds of calls with liquidation managers, judges, commercial courts, public notaries, lawyers, multiple lawyers, real estate agents, and so on, I have seen how much effort one needs to put in just to win or participate in one auction. And there is more than 3,000 auctions per year only in Croatia. So I became quite frustrated with the whole manual process and the manpower me and my team had to put in. So I decided to basically put my engineering skills and product management, as well as my team that was awesome to join me, to make these processes more automated and offer it as a data platform for other investors. Just in the EU, there are more than 250,000 auctions, valued at more than $40 billion annually. And so far, we have counted over 80 public databases, whether from commercial courts, public notaries, real estate agencies, some third-party websites, or like municipal counties where they're also listing such auctions. On average, you can expect about 20% discount on such real estate, but even we have seen more than 60% of discounts. As I mentioned, this buying journey is really hard. The user experience is quite bad. Basically, the market is quite inaccessible, except if you are a lawyer or if you work near the courts. If you have this knowledge and privilege information, then you might be lucky, right? For many more people, they don't even want to touch this particular marketplace. The process is inefficient. There is lack of transparency. It's quite low tech. The data that is super critical in this decision making, it is scattered around multiple databases, unstructured. It comes in the raw format, sometimes in PDFs, in Word documents, in various types, and it requires therefore manual cross-referencing. For every single auction that you, for example, would like to take a part in, you would go through 10 mandatory steps. These can last between 3 to 12 months, sometimes even a bit longer. So here you would also need to go and put a lot of effort into and money into paying the costly expert advice, depositing 10% of down payment in cash. In some countries, it is also being deposited via check. Then you also need to have outstanding amount in cash available within 15 days after auction finishes. You need to be able to conduct site visit in person and only in a short time frame when the liquidation manager allows you to. And then after you are lucky to win the auction, if you are, you need to be dealing with legal processes of transferring the ownership. So now it's time for a deep tech solution that anyone can use. So that's what we are aiming to build. And that's what we've been building for last year plus. So this is a data-based platform where all of the data is coming in. We are parsing the data, organizing it nicely in various dashboards. We are also providing market intelligence, showing the data about the beginning date of the auction, end date, whether the auction has been postponed, is it going on the second discount, third discount, fourth discount, who are the participants, who are the potential co-investors. You can also analyze historical data to basically analyze micro-location or a particular type property, or if it was connected with a particular corporation, you can also analyze through that filter. We would be also providing legal and tax advice and asset advice. And we have already done our solution for automated bidding. And in phase number 2, we will be focusing on tokenization. So here we would allow investors not to necessarily buy a full real estate, paying hundreds of thousands of euros in cash, but they would be able to buy 3% of a house, 5% of a hotel, and so forth. What users can expect in our platform. So in the first phase that we're now dealing with and focusing on, we are building the MVP for data platform. This is all what's happening before the auction starts. This is the discovery phase and analysis phase. So in discovery phase, a user they can skim and browse through thousands of auctions of various discounts and prices, property types like houses, hotels, parking lots, garages, houses, land, and so on. They can also look by location, micro-location, filter by preferences. In the analysis part, they can check the property condition, historical data, evaluate the risk of a particular property and auction, duration of the auctioning processes, pictures, videos, and official documentation. In phase 2, which is our vision at the moment, we want to make an investment platform on top of the existing one, where we will invite users to do co-investment campaigns, just like what you would do on Kickstarter, where people can buy a fraction of a real estate. And then we would be doing the tokenization part. So now I will show you the demo of what we have been building. So here we see the real data for Croatia, but every country has thousands of auctions like that. So here we can filter by the amount of money you are willing to pay per square meter. You can also see the colors that are representing the discounts. So basically, how much each is being valued is represented in a different color. Here on the right-hand side, you will see all the information regarding the beginning date, the decision date, when the auction is happening, and so forth. Here on the other dashboard, which is used at the moment for internal teams, we are doing advanced analytics on thousands of auctions that come in every day. And we are doing the plotting, we are doing the counting and advanced analytics basically to see where and if we can recognize any patterns. So all of this will be a part of our platform. In terms of the traction and what have we completed so far, except the 3 prototypes, we have won 2 real estates in Zagreb, Croatia. One has been discounted or bought 36% under market value. Second real estate was bought at 60% below market value. We have deployed cloud-native automatic data collection engine. We were also offered $700,000 budget to buy 2 auctions for 2 private investors. Recently, we started seed fundraising. We have already done an integration with Slack for automated messages as soon as something new happens with the auctions. Now we are focusing on building the MVP for B2B corporate or institutional investors, as well as B2C customers. And in 2023, we will be doing the pilot for co-investment campaign and tokenization. In terms of the partnerships, we have been lucky to be a part of 3-month program of Antler Startup Accelerator in Singapore. We are also a member of Draper Startup House program, CMS Law and Tax global leading firm. We are also happy to be a proud member of BIRD Incubator and from recently Microsoft for Startups. And why do we feel now it's the right time? Well, unfortunately, due to the COVID and recession, there is a growing number of corporate bankruptcies and personal insolvencies that will result in many more auctions. There is also a 40-year high inflation that is pushing regular investors into real estate as a safe haven and other alternative investment that can also benefit our company. This is a freemium business model, free tier to collect the user data, build awareness and marketing, and also to provide certain value to the free users. And then for $99 monthly subscription fee for customers, we will be unlocking premium location and most profitable real estate, legal screening and instant notifications. And for our institutional investors, we will be doing tailored solution, custom-made dashboards, historical data, access beyond residential properties for $999 monthly subscription fee. So we are proud that we are a global team from day one. And we are building a global team in mind. So this is our co-founding team. Judith and me have been living in Southeast Asia for 10 years in Singapore. Marin is based in Dublin. We have worked for some of the largest tech companies like Amazon Web Services, Variant Systems as a leading cyber intelligence, and Cognite, Axiata Telco group with 6 telecoms in Southeast Asia. I have founded 4 businesses before. Marin has worked in UNDP on a project with 20,000 real estate buildings in Croatia and led more than 260 different investment projects. And this is our amazing team that is doing all the behind work. Everybody from legal, tech, real estate expertise, UX, product design, data engineering, and so forth. We are for this phase one, we're raising between 500 and 800,000 euros. That will give us a runway of 12 to 15 months, primarily to build the MVP, setting up office, build a team, buying the data sets for correlations and data enrichment, and also building the infrastructure, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would like you to buy me some undervalue property. I will definitely invest. Question for Levan. Here, Tin.
Hi. So a few questions, if not a problem. So first of all, when you refer to market value, do you refer to the appraised value at the auction, which is like publicly known, or you have your own appraisal of the property? So this is question number one. Question number two would be, when you refer to historical data, what data would that be? Does it mean like the legal history of the real estate, or you refer to past prices or prices in that micro location, etc.? And on three, the tokenization and the co-investment, what would be the legal vehicle for owning the assets purchased in this way? Thanks.
Right. Thank you for questions. Okay, so regarding the tokenization part, we would be going through the SPV, special purpose vehicle. So the plans so far for this pilot would be that the special purpose vehicle owns a real estate, and then the investors that are buying through online platform, they're the owners of a fractional owner in that SPV. In terms of the historical data, we are collecting the data from all of the historical auctions, so that we can analyze what were the beginning prices, what were the estimated official prices by commercial courts, and then what were the resulting purchase prices, and then what has been the price in that time on the market, right? So there are four price levels that we are capturing that are important for decision making, right? And then in terms of the ownership, historical data, that is not in the phase one, but it can be done in later phases. And then the first question was around, sorry, can you remind me?
Just a sec, I need to give you the mic.
Sorry, yeah, so the initial market price, when you say it was purchased for, I don't know, 60% below the market price, you refer to this initial price at the auction, the appraisal price, or your independent valuation?
We on two price levels. Number one is the official evaluated price that has been done by official body, either a construction engineering company that was appointed by commercial court, or architecture studio, again, appointed by commercial court. So that is one price level, independent price given by them. And then another one is coming from the third-party sources that we will be collecting, prices such as the data from tax systems. Every country is collecting the data around what has been the sold price. So there are various third-party sources that we can acquire or purchase to basically correlate and assess what would be the estimated value. Again, also for certain real estates, we will be having a team to go and evaluate and give a stamp for also our own independent view.
So the answer, this is the question you get when we have a lawyer in audience. There is another question.
Hi, it's Alan again, and I'm bugging with business models, and I will keep doing that. Regarding your, if you will have successful business model, bringing a lot of people on your platform and really connect to a lot of auctions, you will actually maybe disrupt your own business model, because you will get a lot of transparency, and the actual undervaluations are actually due to non-transparency, and because just a few people see these auctions. And then you will not get any more undervalued real estate, and perhaps killing your business model.
Yeah, that's completely fine. I mean, if we are in a product company and expecting that only one product is going to survive for 5 years, then we shouldn't be in this business. So we already have plans for like many other products that we will be launching in the area of energy efficiency, which is our background, in the area of tokenization of real estate, in the area of other types of investments. But the idea is to basically build a brand, own the customer, and then increase the customer lifetime value over the next 10, 15 years with various products for various market segments. So this is really simplified version of the business model. There are many more, thinking behind around like sophisticated go-to-markets and various business models that can be derivated from this.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Hi, Ivan. Really good presentation.
Thank you.
I have one question. What's the reasoning behind monthly subscription fee for business to customers? Because just observing it from a perspective of a customer who wants to buy, I come to the platform, I research, and then I take a monthly subscription for a month, hopefully maybe 2, and find the property, and then I'm gone. So why exactly this approach? How do you plan to keep subscribers active?
Well, thank you for the question. So if we know that there are thousands of auctions coming in every month, maybe even tens of thousands of auctions coming in every month, and this is just for European Union, right? We have not even touched Asia Pacific region where I live. We have not touched upon United States. So basically the idea here is that we would create a long-term sticky platform where with tokenization and fractional investment, you will be able to buy into many more auctions that are coming through. So similar to how you can go and buy stocks over and over again infinitely, and same as you can go into Kickstarter and you can invest over there as well on any campaign, we can approach the business model in a similar manner. And then also there are many other third-party. Sorry?
And there is more answer. No, I'm joking. Just continue.
I hope that answers.
Yeah, I hope that answers. Any question from you guys online? No? Okay. Ivan, thank you once again. Please.
Thank you, everyone.
Applause for Ivan. He did a great presentation. Okay, and as I said, the last presentation would be something very, very sexy because it's recently started a spin-off company from Poslovna Inteligencija, that's the parent company of BIRD Incubator. Here with us is Marian. Marian will present their startup and what they are searching now, what they're looking for. Marian, please take the floor. Here's the mic.
Thank you, Željko, very much. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm usually not the most loved person among startups and startup community when I start talking about privacy, and it's usually not that sexy for startups. But yeah, let me start. All right. So I'm Marian Bračić, and I am the board member in Legit Software in charge of strategy and research and development of our technology. Legit is not just a software company. We are a team of dedicated professionals who want to protect people's privacy, and this is what we aim to do. We learned back in 2017 when we started that the best way to protect people's privacy is to help companies do privacy the right way. And this is why we have built Data Privacy Manager, a software platform, modular software platform with a lot of functionalities, which is actually helping companies comply with all these different aspects of privacy compliance, which can get very, very complicated. The problems, and when you think about the market for privacy, and when you think about the market for software in privacy protection, you should think about the challenges. And the first thing you can think about is the complexity of regulations. You know that back in 2018, GDPR was enforced in European Union, but that just started what we call the age of privacy, because privacy regulations started to spread like wildfire all across the world. We now have privacy regulation in some of the states in United States, and we are definitely going to see a federal
Privacy Act there. We can see that there are Privacy Acts in the rest of the Europe, in Asia, China, India, Brazil, Africa, and so on. The second problem, which I'm sure you are very familiar with, is that companies collect more and more personal data, and this volume of data is just growing. And if you just listen to all the startups, everyone is collecting data and doing something with personal data. So the complexity of regulation and the complexity and volumes of data are difficult to tackle. And on top of that, we are seeing a huge number of different use cases which are either technologically connected to a specific sector or they are connected to a specific business process. So this is why Gartner is putting privacy in the center of their trendverse. Every industry, every type of technology has a common challenge, and you guessed it, that's privacy. And this is exactly where we want to be. The market for privacy management software, according to IDC, was around $1.7 billion last year. And we can see the annual compound growth rate of over 40%, bringing that market to around $26 billion in 2029. However, this is just a very narrow view of what privacy management is. I think the market is much, much bigger, probably at least 10 times that. Our platform is a cloud-native software platform with different modules. It is designed as a land and expand platform. We are not in an MVP phase. We currently have over 100 customers. We have all of these modules already developed. And we have a common technology which is based on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, which allows customers to find any personal data in any system. And what we are working on now is to be able to link all those bits of data to a single individual, thus providing the baseline not only for privacy compliance, but also for proper data governance, and also building a baseline for the ethical development of artificial intelligence. Our business model is very, very simple. We sell subscription to different modules of the platform, and we sell implementation services. As our product is getting more and more mature with more use cases and more customers, we are seeing that the bigger percentage of our revenue is subscription of the software modules, and we are earning less from services, and that is exactly how we like it to be. Our revenue for last year was 1 million euro, and projected revenue for this year is around 2 million euro, out of which more than 50% is already contracted. Our customers are mostly enterprise customers, and we have, we got a great traction here in the region. We have a lot of customers in the region, which is normal because we started here in the region, but we are working on expanding. We already have customers in the United States, and we got customers in Africa as well. And the typical size of our customer is what we would call an enterprise company here, so at least over 100 employees with a sizable revenue. The total combined revenue of our customers is more than 50 billion euro. Our USPs and what we do differently compared to the competition are the way in which the platform was built. From the start, it was built to land and expand, which is very important with the customers. So they start by solving the high-risk problems first, and then we expand to other topics, other issues, other areas when they have a specific use to have privacy by design when they are starting a new product or service. A second very important thing is that we want to bring data-driven compliance, unlike paper-based compliance, which we are seeing most companies do. That means that we are using high-end technology, we are building our own proprietary technology, everything we do was researched and built by our team. We are currently a team of 30 people. And we want to be able to connect to every system of the company. We want to be able to discover and track every bit of personal data in order to protect that data in the organization. Another USP that is very specific to us and that we do differently in a way that we are the only ones who are talking about this and doing this, and it's also connected to the environmental issues, is that we are solving the data graveyard problem. The sheer volume of data that organizations just don't have the legal and business justification to collect or store is growing. And we are solving that problem by automating data removal for organizations. And it's not that organizations don't want to do that, they just don't have the technological means to do it. And the final one is where Gartner puts us in the, for the past 2 years, as one of the top vendors in the world, is consent and preference management. It is related to collecting consents and data for marketing purposes. It is connected to collecting consents and data for profiling, customer profiling, but also we are currently speaking, for example, with AstraZeneca to master all their global clinical trial studies and consents and personal data related to that studies. Finally, we are happy with the visibility we have. It can always be better, but we have worked a lot both on the technology, being visible with the world's best analysts, and also building on our inbound marketing and our brand visibility. So both Gartner and Forrester, as the top analytical companies, put us out there among the top vendors in privacy management. And we are also included in the Spark Matrix quadrant for one of the best vendors for privacy management software as well. So at this point, we are talking to investors. We are raising €5 million as the Series A. We want to use that money to expand our sales force, to expand our marketing efforts, and to focus more on the West EU and then on the US market. We see that the whole world is actually our market, but we need to start somewhere. So expanding from the region, first thing that we want to do is focus on the West Europe and get more visible with the analysts, have all the subscriptions to all the Gartners and Forresters, not to be left out of anything. We want to expand our partner network. We already have a global software distributor. We want to work with system integrators. We want to have partners in all the regions in the world to have local geographical presence. And also we want to build world-leading customer care service for privacy management. So thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's privacy, it's not that sexy.
Too much money.
All right, thank you very much.
There is a question. John Michaels from Mitchell.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. You've obviously made great progress. What do you see as the major challenges to scaling the business as you're going to want to go up, grow exponentially? What are the 2 or 3 big challenges you've got to overcome?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. I could talk about that. So I think our major challenge in the time to come is to pick the right use cases, because the area is getting so wide and there is so much that we can do with the privacy management platform. Mostly because we are not industry specific and every industry has the problem with privacy. So what we need to do is be very smart in the strategy and in the execution of this strategy of where we want to put our efforts in. And like I said, currently, just for consent and preference management, we are talking, for example, to AstraZeneca, we are talking to the News UK corporation, you know, the Times, the Sunday Times, and so on. We are talking to all the banks and insurance companies in Croatia for building a system that will share data between insurances and banks in a compliant way. So there is really a lot that we can do, and I think the most important thing is to pick our battles.
Thank you. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense, yeah.